Congratulations on your upgrade to the dual POWERBEAT. In this video, we'll walk you through the installation of the new sensor. It's quite similar to the one you've already done. Remove the right pedal from your crank. If you need assistance, you can go back and watch the Removing the Pedals video on our website. If you have washers on the pedal axle, you should take them off. Let's clean the right crank arm. You'll need a sponge, dishwashing liquid, and a paper towel to clean your crank arm. Scrub it on all sides with the wet sponge and dishwashing liquid. We don't want any oil or residues left on the crank. Now, dry the crank arm with a paper towel. Remember that if your room temperature is below 25 degrees Celsius or 77 Fahrenheit, turn on the heater now and leave it on for the entire gluing process. Let's quickly run through all the items in your POWERBEAT kit. The gluing device with a sensor inside. Glue. Small plastic dish for the glue. Gluing stick for applying the glue. Alcohol pads. Marking ruler and pencil for marking. Rubber gloves. Sandpaper. A sticker. B sticker. Rubber bands. Also make sure you have protective goggles, a pair of scissors, bowl of water, bowl of warm water, and paper towel, which are not included in your POWERBEAT kit. Remember that throughout the entire gluing process, your bike should be securely mounted to the trainer. The right crank arm should always face the rear of the bike. This is important for the positioning of the sensor. Notice that the crank arm has a narrow and wide side. The sensor is glued on the top part of this narrow side. This gluing device has a cradle which holds the sensor inside. The sensor is delicate, so try not to touch it too much. And needless to say, never drop or bend it. For optimal results, the sensor needs to be positioned straight along the center of the narrow side of the crank, not diagonally, and not near the edge, but straight along the middle with the entire silver surface of the sensor on the crank arm. Okay, let's prepare the gluing position. This marking ruler is used to mark the exact spot where sticker A will be placed on each crank arm. It has 6 slits which are used for marking the exact position. With the right crank arm facing the rear of the bike, take the marking ruler and place the pedal placer inside the pedal hole when the R is upright. Now, bend the ruler over the top of the crank and use the pencil to mark the 2 R slits and then the X slit. Push the ruler out of the pedal hole when you're finished. Draw a short line in the middle of each R line. We'll call these M lines. Note that some cranks curve at the edge, which should not be taken into consideration when you mark the M lines. Now let's place sticker A to mark the exact spot where we will sand and later glue the sensor. As you can see, the A sticker has 4 little slits in it. Place the vertical grooves exactly on the M lines that you drew earlier. You can gently move and reposition the sticker until you are satisfied. Now mark the 2 little C slits on the bottom of the sticker. Soak the sandpaper in water and sand off the coating from the crank arm. It's crucial that the sensor will have direct contact with the crank's metal, so don't leave any coating in the designated area. Now you can remove sticker A and place the B sticker on the C lines, so they don't get erased when you clean the crank arm. Clean the sanded area with the paper towel. Take an alcohol pad and wipe the crank arm once in one direction and let it dry for a few moments without blowing air on it. Make sure that the X line is visible, and if not, use the marking ruler to remake it. Take the rubber bands and slide them over the crank arm without touching the clean surface. Now, we'll do a step-by-step dry run without any glue yet, because we want to make sure you do it right the first time. Hold the sensor and place it so the middle side groove you see here is aligned with the X line. Now, use your thumb to keep the gluing device in place and slowly slide each of the rubber bands into its slot. Make sure that both rubber bands are placed vertically. Now, you can make minor adjustments to be sure that the opening of the gluing device fits perfectly over the C lines and the opposite side of the gluing device is straight in the middle of the crank arm. These 2 sockets will help you with the positioning. Great! You have finished the dry run, and now you're ready for the real thing. Slide the rubber bands back towards the BB. Take the sensor and place it on a clean surface with its aluminum side facing up. Use a new alcohol pad to wipe the sensor's aluminum surface once in one direction and let the alcohol evaporate. Use another alcohol pad to wipe across the gluing area. Just like before, one wipe in one direction. Okay, now you're ready for the real thing, using the glue. Let's put on our goggles and gloves. Place the glue in a cup of warm water for 30 to 60 seconds. Open the external plastic bag of the glue and slide off the clip. Unfold the bag on a clean surface and start mixing the two components by sliding the clip across the bag. The two components must be completely mixed, so make sure that there are no unmixed drops in either side of the small plastic bag. Slide back and forth about 30 times to be on the safe side. Please note that the glue bag may have a small air bubble inside. You can press it lightly to move it to the side, and then you'll be able to continue with the mixing. Move all the glue to one side and cut the bag open close to the glue. Now, you can squeeze the glue out and into the small plastic dish. Before we apply the glue on the sensor, make sure that the crank arm's sanded area is facing up. Hold the handle of the gluing device and with the gluing stick, spread a thin layer of glue evenly across the aluminum surface. Make sure that the entire surface is evenly coated. Place the gluing device exactly where it needs to be on the crank arm. Remember to make sure that the middle side groove, which is closest to the X line, is aligned with the X line. Hold the gluing device in place with your thumb and slide the rubber bands on it, making sure both bands are vertical to the crank arm. Make sure that the gluing device opening is aligned between the two C lines. Make sure the opposite side of the sensor, the one closest to the BB, is straight in the middle of the crank arm's narrow surface. These two sockets will help you in this process. When the position is right, press down lightly on the middle of the gluing device while making sure you don't move it. Now that the sensor is glued, it's time to let it dry for 24 hours without moving the crank or the bike. Please remember that if your room temperature is below 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit, you must turn on the heater till tomorrow. Don't worry, we'll alert you when time's up, so go out and have some fun without your bike, as hard as it may be. One last thing. Now is the time to charge the new comp unit, which we'll install tomorrow. Take it out from the box, click the button to release the comp unit from the bracket, and plug it into the charger.